my name is Luann Pygott, and you are in my kitchen, and we are going to make something yummy for Sunday. Okay, hold on. Let me turn my thing around here. Here is my little mixer. So I am going to start off with, I'm going to make some chicken and dumplings in a minute. But I am going to start off with a new recipe. This is an old recipe. It's not a new recipe. But it's one I have, at least if I've made it, I don't ever remember making it. But it has to be an older recipe. It's called Hershey Syrup Brownies. There's a picture. Hershey Syrup Brownies. I found this recipe. It's very interesting. It doesn't have any baking soda or baking powder in it. Okay. Well, let's just see what we get here when we make it. Okay, so it says you're going to start. This is probably from the back of a, because it actually calls for a can of Hershey syrup. You know, they don't even put Hershey syrup in a can anymore. It's in a bottle. But I remember it in the can. So this was probably the recipe from the back of the can of Hershey syrup. So let's see what we get. We get a half a cup of butter melted in the microwave. This can't be that old, or it wouldn't say melt in the microwave. So it had to be around when microwaves existed. So a half a cup of butter, that's a stick of butter. So there's my stick of melted butter. I already melted that one in the microwave. So I'm going to dump that in, and then you're going to add 1 cup of sugar. So it says to put those together. What we get here. Uh-oh, it says trying to reconnect. Well, let me see what Wi-Fi are we on here. Let's try this. That. I've been having such issues with my Wi-Fi telling me it can't connect lately. Okay, so I switched from the hotspot to the Wi-Fi, so we're going to hope that works. There's my cup of sugar into the stick of melted butter. All right, so let's pull this up. Hopefully that will stay connected. So we're creamy. It says to cream them, but it's melted, so it's different than creaming to me, but that's okay. Then we're going to add... Let me see. It says to add the eggs and then add the vanilla. I'm actually going to add the vanilla first because I don't want to put the eggs in the warm butter. So let's add a teaspoon of vanilla. Kind of do my own order here. I'm doing my way. Teaspoon of vanilla extract. Okay, there you go. Let's mix that in. I think this will be interesting. Sure, we must have had these brownies at some point in my life because I think this is an older recipe, but interesting. Okay, here, I'm over here with my little cup, and I'm going to put an egg in here. This takes 4 eggs. So there's 1. Blend that, get another egg. Another egg. Now let's choose egg number 3. Egg number 4. Okay, that's pretty soupy since the butter is melted. Well, there you go. That's what we have. Let me get rid of these eggshells. Then we're going to add in 1 cup of flour. So it doesn't have a lot of flour. Oh, that's kind of good because then it's probably going to be a real... Maybe it'll be gooey brownies. I have no idea. I'm so interested to see how these turn out. Cup of flour. Okay, here's my flour. Over there. So then what I always do with the flour is I take a whisk and I stir the flour so it won't be packed tightly in here. So you don't have to sift flour. You can just take a whisk and kind of stir it around. Then I'm going to take 1 cup of flour. There we go. There's 1 cup of flour. We're going to dump that. Is this what it tells me to do? Add flour, mix well. So like I said, this doesn't have any baking soda or baking powder at all in it. Quite interesting, huh? Hi! My makeup day was so fun. We had such a good time. Oh, we had such a good visit. And then we had so much fun playing makeup. She picked out a new foundation shade, one of the new shades. And all kind of goodies. Oh, she got all kind of goodies. Oh, and you got your package today, right? It told me, it said it was delivered. I'm assuming you got it. Okay, so there's my 1 cup of flour. Again, these are called Hershey syrup brownies. And this is where it tells you to add a 16 ounce can of Hershey syrup. So if you remember the oldie goldie days when Hershey syrup came in a can, it doesn't come in a can anymore. It comes in a bottle like that. And it doesn't, I don't know if it comes in 16 ounces anymore. This is 24 ounces, so I have to measure it. 16 ounces, so I'm going to, that's 2 cups. 2 cups of chocolate syrup goes in this thing. And it's interesting, so it doesn't have cocoa. It doesn't have baking powder or baking soda. It also tells you can add a cup of chopped nuts, optional. I don't like nuts at all. No nuts. So we're not doing it. We are going to add Hershey syrup and then we'll be done. So I'm just taking the lid off. And we're going to get us 2 cups of Hershey's chocolate syrup. Wish they told me a year for this recipe so I knew how old it was. I'll bet this used to be on the can of Hershey syrup though. Okay, there. Oh, look at that chocolate syrup. These brownies are probably really bad for you. Okay, let's see. Well, what brownies aren't bad for you though, right? All right, here we go. Hershey syrup. Add the Hershey syrup. Here you go. Now they're going to really be chocolate. You have not had a chance to open it. That's okay. As long as you got a hold of it. Okay, let me let that drain for a minute. I like to do that. I'll take my measuring cup and let it sit there and drain. It works, kind of. Kind of works. Stay there. This one's kind of a big measuring cup. Usually when I have a little measuring cup, it'll tilt. This one won't tilt. Let's just hold it. I need to get my little spatula because this stuff is thicker. Let's see if I can find my little, here's one. Little spatula. Little scraper. There we go. If that's just oil or something, it will drain, but that chocolate syrup's going to take all day. I'll scrape it in. I don't want to waste this. And that's it for the brownies. And then it has a glaze. Or icing, it's straight up icing it says. So for the icing, you're going to have 3 cups of powdered sugar. A whole dozen of icing. Half a cup of butter melted again. 4 tablespoons of cocoa. 4 tablespoons of milk and a teaspoon of vanilla. So once these are done baking, these take 350 degrees. It takes 35 to 40 minutes. And you're putting it in, I'm making a mess over here, a 9 by 13 pan. It says you've greased the bottom, so let me get that. First, let's turn on this to finish mixing. Oh, look at that. It's going to look so good. It's going to be soupy. Oh, look how dark that is. Oh, my word. Well, that sure does look good. Smells like Hershey syrup. Okay, so here's our pan. It says spray the bottom. There we go. We're going to pour in our batter. This is a really runny batter. I'm so curious to see what kind of brownies these make. Chocolatey ones. Like I say, I'm wondering if this is ever a recipe I had when I was young. Don't that I remember exactly, but it sounds like something that would be an older recipe. And let me get these mixed. Okay, pour it in. Here we go. Are you ready? This is going to be runny. Oh, look at that. Okay, here we go. We got the oven preheated to 350. Then as soon as we get these in, we're going to make some chicken. Well, I've made the chicken. We're going to make the dumplings for the chicken. If you've ever made chicken and dumplings. Boy, does this smell like chocolate syrup. It smells so much like chocolate syrup. It smells, that's all it smells like. Chicken and dumplings are so good, and they make such a big mess. But they're good. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is take and beat that on the counter to try to get some bubbles out. And it did not work at all. It usually works with cake batter. It's a big old bubble there. All right, let's see. It says bake 35-40 minutes at 350 till they test done with a toothpick. Okay, so we got our oven over here. Let's put it in my oven. Can you see over there? That's where we're going. Set it for 35 minutes. Ooh, it's warm in there. And then we will test. Okay, so now I've got my new little phone holder here. It's working so much better than what I had before. All right, let's move my stuff out of the way. Now we're gonna make some dumplings, and I'm gonna have to move some stuff here. Hold on. Let me get my stuff cleaned off over here. Okay, so I'm going to put some chicken broth in my pan. So I got that pan over there. You see my pan over there? That pan. I'm going to just put some chicken broth in there. Now it says 3 cans of chicken broth. I'm probably going to need a lot more than that though. I like it more brothy than this thing tells you to do. But I'm going to go ahead and get this warm. I've got it on medium just for now. If you like to make your own chicken broth, you can do that. So this is one, again, I'm not using a can, I'm using this box. Probably going to put 2 boxes of this in there. And this is chicken stock, not chicken broth. I like the chicken stock better. It's a little more flavorful. All right, let's see, where's another one? Let's do 2. So let's do 2 of these. I have my chicken right here too. I cooked the chicken and shredded it. I baked it. I baked it in the oven, 350 for about 50 minutes. And those are chicken tenderloins, but you can use the chicken breast. You can use whatever chicken you want. My grandmother, when she made this, she always used like a whole chicken on the bone and cooked it all and then deboned it. And I think it tastes really good that way because you get more flavor in the chicken, but that's an awful lot more work, so I don't do it. Hi, Karen. How are you doing? Haven't seen you for a while. Okay, so let's get our batter here. I'm going to start with my bowl. That's a big enough bowl. All right, let me see. What I'm going to need is trying to decide, do I want to make a little extra of this? Because Mom and Dad both love this so much. I want Mom particularly. I want her to have some extra ingredients, extra leftover. So it's all right. So I'll just tell you what the recipe says. So it's going to call for 2 chicken breasts. My cats are crashing into something. What are y'all doing over here? I hear crashing. What you up to? Meow. Okay, I hear you. The when they want my attention, because they're about ready to be fed, they start getting up to no good, making noise. They're like, "What are y'all doing?" They're like, getting your attention. Is what we're doing. It's not time yet, girls. They're like, we're ready for dinner. Almost time, girls. So funny. Okay, so what we're gonna do is I'm gonna need 1.5 cups of flour. So here's my cup. Cup and a half of flour. I'm probably going to make half as much again. But the recipe to, like, for the regular amount's 1.5 cups. So I'm adding more so I can have extra. So I'm doing half as much again. That's what I'm doing. So I'm going to need that flour over here. I'm probably going to need more flour than that. I have to find some more flour in my cabinet. Get my sugar out of the way. We don't need that. All right, so then we're going to have 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. Yeah, I got vanilla on my teaspoon. Let me get that off of there. Dry it off. Hold on. Okay, here we go. 1.5 teaspoons. Okay, and then I'm going to do half as much again since I'm making extra. Okay. Then we're going to have 1 1/8 teaspoons of salt. I'm actually going to add a little extra salt. I always think it needs a little more salt. Okay, there you go. Okay, so then we're going to mix that together. And I'm going to use this pastry cutter right here. Oh, can you even see what I'm doing? I tilted it up too much. Let's go down. There you go. I'm doing really well. I'm tired. I was laid on the couch, watching TV, fell asleep. I'm like, oh, I gotta get up and cook still. That's okay, I had a nice little nap. Yes, nice little nap. So I'm gonna stir it together. Then you can either use butter here, or the recipe and what my grandmother always used calls for 1.5 tablespoons of shortening. So since that's the real recipe, I always use the shortening. And get rid of the baking powder. Oh, there we go. That butter is going to be for the brownies later. I always like to buy these little cans of shortening and start with a fresh one because shortening gets real yucky real fast. Okay, we have like a 2. So it's let's see, 1.5 tablespoons of shortening, and then half as much again. So let's see. Get a knife to get it out of here. Then, like I say, I'm doing like the 1 1.5 amount here. So let's do, I'm going to need what would basically be like the 1/8 of a tablespoon of shortening, which we'll say it's at that right there. That's a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Okay. Just scrape it all out of here. Come on, get in there. There we go. I don't hardly use shortening for anything else. I don't know if there is much else I do with it. I don't really ever use it. All right, let's see what my chicken broth's doing over here. All right, so then I'm going to take this pastry cutter. I'm going to cut this shortening in here. Then we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of milk. It says you can add pepper to taste. Well, you know, I have no idea how much that's going to be. I actually hate recipes that tell you to add salt and pepper to taste. Like, how do I know what that's going to taste like? So I just put some in. A little bit. I wish they would give you an actual measurement, and then if you want to adjust it, you can adjust it next time. But give me a starter amount. They don't, though. A lot of them don't. Just put in as much as you want. Well, I don't know what it's going to taste like till I'm done. So you have to guess and then try to remember what you did next time. Okay, here we go. And it'll just kind of look like flour. You really can't tell you even have the shortening in there. And then I kind of make a well in it here. And we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of milk. Let me get my little measuring cup here. I like to put my milk up on a thing like that. Can you see it even? Because I can measure it without having to bend all the way over. Let's see how I'm measuring it. Okay, here we go. 3/4 of a cup. Then half as much again. Let's see, that's going to be that much right there. There we go. Nothing is better than you. Love that song. There's nothing, and stir with a spoon, better than you. There's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing. Nothing is better than you. And here we go. Stirring up, making our dough. Then once you get that, you're going to press it out and cut it into strips. So here comes the messy part. Alright, so there you go. Doesn't look like much, does it? So let me go over here where I can make a mess. I'm going to clean off part of my counter here. Take my cookbook off of here. I gotta look to see if I've got more flour in here somewhere. It'll be in here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay, just need more flour. I got the flour. Sit down, girls. Sit down, girls. And the cats are over there prowling, waiting for me to be done so they can have their dinner. They're just going to keep waiting. Okay, I'm taking the phone, and I'm going over here. Here's where we're going. See if I can plug it in here. There we go. There's where we are. You know what? I'm going to get this box, though. Maybe you'll be able to see a little more. There you go. We will raise it up. All right, there's my counter. That's what we're doing. We're going to the counter. My cat is going crazy. Then I'm just making a mess on the counter with the flour. Well, we'll just dump all, that's all I got left in that container. Okay, let me get my cutter. You see how my broth is doing over here? Well, we're getting pretty good with the broth. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that up some. Okay, so here is our, let me see, how well can you see that? Oh, you can see that really well. Okay, so I'm gonna take my bowl and put some flour, which I just should have done at first. Put the flour in your hands. Then we're gonna take this dough. We're gonna dump it out here. And you can make a whole lot more than this if you want a whole lot more. Grandma always had such a big pot. Okay? Because she was feeding a bunch of us. Everybody loved chicken and dumplings. They're so good. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna put some flour up on here. I'm probably gonna get this all over me. There we go. So then I just kind of start turning it over and around and stuff and trying to get rid of the sticky feeling of it. It's just kind of like, well, looks like biscuit dough. There we go. And dumplings, I don't think you really even have to roll them out. You can if you want to, like with a rolling pin, but you don't have to. Here we go. I just press them out. See, I'm feeling sticky spots. When I feel sticky spots, I'm picking up the flour. And look what I like to cut them with. A pizza cutter. You can use a knife, but I discovered this little method one day, and oh, yep, here we go. I'm wearing the flour. I needed my apron. That's okay. It's just flour. It'll wash off. I discovered this method with the pizza cutter. It works really well. Okay, so you're gonna drop these into the boiling chicken broth. I like them pretty flattened out though, but they'll poof back up because they have baking powder in them. Sure, I don't have any real super flat spots. And you see, you don't need any sort of exact shape or anything. All right, let me get some of this off my hands. And you are going to let them simmer, I think it's 10 minutes. Let me see my recipe. Yeah, 8 to 10 minutes it's going to boil in the chicken broth. Okay, so I'm going to take my pizza cutter and I'm going to just do in strips. You can cut these in diamonds and rectangles and squares, and you can do whatever you want. I kind of like to make bite-sized pieces. I don't like dumplings that are so huge that you have to keep cutting them before you can put it in your mouth. Grandma always made them real long. I think I know why she did though, because it's a lot faster. So you can make these long rectangle pieces, but then they don't fit in your mouth. I like them. I kind of like them like almost little squares. And like I said, if you would rather do diamond shapes, you can, but I like bite size or close to bite size. It's just easier to eat. This, look how fast and easy this is with a pizza cutter. Have you never done this with a pizza cutter? Do it. If you've never done this at all, it's not hard. My cats are getting agitated with me. That one was a little small, but that's okay. They want to be fed. They know it's their feeding time. There we go. So there we have like our little checkerboard. Then I'm going to scoop these up. Here, let's relocate then. I'm going to scoop these up and go put it in the broth. That's over here. Now let's move back over here. I know, we're just swimming today. I'm not even going to plug it back in. Here we go. Oh, you know what I need is my light. There we go. There's our pan. All right, let's see if we're boiling. Oh, we're really close. Look at that steam. Okay, we're close to boiling. All right, here's my chicken while we're waiting to boil. There's my chicken. So I'm going to, I've shredded it, but I'm going to kind of pull out any little of the little gristle pieces because I haven't done that yet. I hate those little pieces. Ugh. So I'm just going to pull out any pieces I don't want in there. But if you take 2 forks and shred your chicken as soon as you get it out of the oven, it's real easy to pull apart because it's hot. Do it when it's hot from the oven. The other thing you can do, especially if you're doing a bunch of chicken, is stick it in a bowl and use your mixer, your hand mixer, and actually just like stir the chicken and it'll shred it all to bits. It's real fast. But this was 5 actually. I used 5 like chicken tenderloins. Might could have made some more since I added extra dumplings, but this is actually extra chicken than what it called for too. So just pulling these apart. How are we doing over there? Oh, we're on the verge. So I'm just going through the chicken. Hi, how are you doing? So, oh, I can smell chocolate brownies. Oh, those smell good. Let's see how we're doing here. Yep, we're almost there. Come on, boil. I have it on, oh, I don't quite have it on high. No wonder it's taking longer. All right, let's turn it on super high. It's just chicken broth. That should do it. Oh yeah, there it goes. Okay, so now we're boiling. So let me get the dumplings and you just dump them in. Dump the dumplings. And I usually take like a spatula to carry them over here. It's like a, hamburger spatula. Come over here and scoop them up. And just drop them in here. There you go. And the faster you can get them in there, I think the faster, the more evenly they'll cook. If you can get them in there like closer at the same time, which can be quite a challenge. Because some of them have cooked longer than the others. I'm also really bad at not putting enough flour where they stick to the counter, but I think I really did good today. They're scooping right up. Just keep dumping them in, and we'll let this cook 10 minutes. And I usually scoop up the extra flour that's kind of over here too, and it thickens it up a little bit more. I like it. I like the dumplings to be. I like it kind of to be thickened, So it's just the extra flour over here just gets dumped in too. Works really well. Here we go. So I'll kind of get scooped in there. This really works well if you have a counter next to the stove. It works a lot better. But my biggest counter space is over here across the kitchen. I'm getting my exercise this way. And I do have some over here like where the phone is. It's a little bit bigger of a counter space, but I've got all the brownie stuff in the way. So I just went across the kitchen. Uh-oh, did I drop one? I sure did. Look at there, he escaped. Get in there. All right, probably one more trip here. And I'm scooping up some of this flour. Then I'm just gonna stir it. Then I'm gonna probably like tilt this lid here. And I'm gonna set the microwave timer for 10 minutes. since I have the other timer set for brownies. And it's only got 13 minutes. Well, pretty close here. Alright, now we got the big mess. Alright, let's finish with this chicken. And then we'll put the chicken in there too. Like I said, you can use any part of the chicken you want, dark meat, light meat, whatever you want. I usually just do light meat because that's what all of us like. I hear the cat. Oh, she's got a toy. Okay. She found a spring. Oh, where'd you have that hidden? That's her toy. But I look and look all over the house for where she puts those because she likes me to throw them. And she hides them. And sometimes she hides them where she can't get them. Like under something, but she apparently was able to get that one. And she is running around swatting it. That's her favorite little toy. It's like a little plastic spring. No. No spilling over. Let's turn it down. I've got the lid tilted, but still sometimes it doesn't seem to be good enough. Alright. Almost done here. And I actually have poultry seasoning sprinkled on this chicken because I always think it needs a little more flavor or something. There you go. I'm going to go ahead and put it in with the dumplings. They can all cook together. Let's put it there. Let's get me a nice spoon here. Stir or something. Turn it back on high since I knew I was dumping that in. Let's get it back to a boil. There it is. Oh my goodness, they're going to be so good. Look at this. Don't they look good? Ooh. If you've ever had chicken and dumplings. Okay, there we go. Now, we're going to let that boil. We're going to turn that back down a little bit now, again. And I am going to wash my bowl for making the icing. My bowl and my beater. I'm going to wash those real quick so I can make the icing for the brownies. Then we're going to be done. Wondering how long do they have to cool before I put the icing on there? Better find that out. Since I have not made this before, I have no idea. So this is what we're having after church tomorrow. We are having chicken and dumplings. And I'm just going to make like frozen mixed vegetables only because since I'm going to all this trouble making dumplings, they're easy. Make something easy to go with it. Have some sort of vegetable. So we're just going to have some frozen mixed vegetables. And brownies. Pretty easy, simple lunch. Okay. Clean up some of this mess here so I have even room in the sink. Spatula up. How are we doing over here? We're doing good. Alright. Turn it down a little bit more. Probably should have about 6 minutes. Let's see. Yeah, less than 6 minutes. Okay, so let's do wash my bowl. My mixing bowl. Hurting myself. Alright, let me get some soap, rinse, wash this out real fast, and then we will make our Easy peasy. I like to make chicken and dumplings the night before rather than the day you're going to eat them. Anything like that, like stew and chili and chicken and dumplings, they're all so much better when you make them the night before because they absorb the flavor and stuff overnight. They're always better the next day. Let me stir. Oh my goodness, do those look like a good batch. Ooh. Sometimes they have a tendency to fall apart a little bit on me, but they're not doing that today. They look so tasty. Okay, so let's move our camera here. I hope I'm not making y'all seasick, moving it all around today. At least it's different. I'm going to go back over here to the mixer, and we're going to make icing. Let me see what it says about the icing. When the brownies are almost done, prepare... Oh, okay. It says do it when they're almost done. Okay, this is interesting. We're going to bring to boil in the microwave the butter, the cocoa, and a tablespoon of milk. Okay. In a mixing bowl, add the powdered sugar and the cocoa mixture to the sugar and beat well. Add 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Add the rest of the milk. So they want it to boil. I'm a little scared to do that in the microwave. I think I must do it on the stove. Because, you know, that can go south really fast in the microwave, boiling butter. Really fast. So I'm going to actually just put it on the stove. So it's going to take another stick of butter. There's a lot of butter in these brownies. Take a stick of butter. You probably just want a small piece. All right, let's see. Yeah. Melt it. You want to do it in the microwave, you go ahead, you brave person. All right, let me see what my brownies look like in here. Ooh. They look yummy. They're kind of rising a little oddly, but that's okay. They look like they're a little uneven in this picture, though. See how they look like a little uneven and chunky there? Well, that's what they're looking like, so apparently we're doing good. Okay, so we're going to melt the butter. It says to melt it. I guess you put it on, let the brownies cool for 5 to 10 minutes. Oh, okay. So we only have to let them cool. They're going to be hot brownies. Okay. Good. Don't have to let it cool all the way. We are going to add the butter, the cocoa. So I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of cocoa. Well, let's go back over here then. You know what? Maybe we aren't going to need to use the mixer. I don't think we're going to need the mixer. 4 tablespoons. All right, let me get my measurer here. Measuring spoon. Oh, here. This is 2 tablespoons. This cocoa is almost out. This one is. So I'm scraping the bottom here. So I got the butter melting. Let's see if I can get my 4 tablespoons of cocoa. There's 2 tablespoons. I have to open up my next one here. It's almost enough. I hate to waste it. How are we doing over here, dumplings? Oh, they're doing so good. Turn it down a bit more. All right, you need to chill out over here, butter. I got snap, crackle, pop butter over here. Never heard butter do that. Chill out, butter. Let's turn it way down. Have you ever heard snap, crackle, pop butter? I think it's because it's just like a generic butter. And I think when it has a lot of water in it, it does that. It sounds like sizzling butter. Okay, opening up my other thing of cocoa. Hold on here. Then we're going to add. You ever have a hard time with the new thing of cocoa and it's such a mess? Okay. All right, there you go. 2 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons of cocoa. All right. And then we're going to add 1 tablespoon of the milk. Okay, that's supposed to be the dumplings are done. So let's turn those off. Let's stir our cocoa. and butter, but I gotta add a tablespoon of milk to this. I think I'm gonna get a little whisk, maybe. It's a little lumpy. All right, tablespoon of the milk. So we're gonna need 4 tablespoons, which is a 1/4 cup. So let me find my cup measurer here. Let me measure a 1/4 cup. There we go. And then I'm going to pour a tablespoon in here. Of milk. 1 of the 4 tablespoons goes in. Let me find a little whisk here. Here we go. Just bring it to a boil. Yeah, we're kind of there. Oh, we're almost done with the brownies, too. We're just marching along here with stuff being done. Well, you know, adding that milk really made a big difference, actually. It, like, instant smooth. So they knew what they was talking about. Okay, so I'm turning that off. Okay, what does it say to do now? It says in a mixing bowl, beat well. Okay, so we're doing the mixing bowl. Let me get that back over here. We will relocate. Well, hello, little cat. What you doing, Godiva? She's lurking. What you doing, Godiva? Meow. You say meow? Yes, she sure can. What? Meow. That's feed me. She's like, it's dinner time. You know it's dinner time. They can tell time better than anything I've ever seen. They're like almost to the minute. All right, let me look at the brownies. Let us see what we have. Oh, they smell good. All right, let's see. I'll pull them out here. And they look a little bit like a lumpy. Interesting. It says till a toothpick comes out clean. Let's try that then. Okay, Godiva. She's starting to get coming closer. Like, she thinks if she gets closer to me, it'll get me to follow her. It'll be soon, baby. Be soon. It's after 11, that's why. They usually get fed at 11. They're like, you are starving us? You are starving us. All right, here's the toothpick. Okay, let me check it. I can get a toothpick out of here. I have a tester somewhere. I don't know where, oh, it's probably over there. I don't know where my tester is. Toothpick comes out clean. Toothpick is clean. These are some interesting texture to these brownies. All right, it says 5 to 10 minutes, let it cool. Well, let's do this. Let's do 10 minutes. And we'll check it in 5 too. All right, let's move all this out of the way. I really want to get it off the stove, though. I'm not convinced it cools very well on top of a hot stove. So let's get my little rack here, my cooling rack. Move the brownies onto the cooling rack. There we go. There we are. Very interesting. All right. Okay, so now it says we are going to put in here, add the powdered sugar. So we're going to have 3 cups of powdered sugar. Let me find my powdered sugar. I didn't even get that out. There we go. All right, there's probably 3 cups in here. So let's add 3 cups of powdered sugar. Let me stir it a little bit with my whisk because I got a big lump in it. Big lump. All right. Here's a cup. Okay. Trying to get it. It's kind of packed in here. Get it loosened up. There's a cup, more or less. This is something I don't think you have to be terribly accurate with powdered sugar. With flour and stuff like that you do, but powdered sugar, yeah. Alright, let me loosen it up here. Boy, it's stuck in here good. Why are you so packed so tight in here? I'm trying to do it with my left hand. Alright, there we go. 2 cups. Let me stir it a little bit more with my... It is really... I think it got maybe just the slightest bit damp, just from the humidity. It's been so humid. That's why it's like not wanting to come out of my little container here. Woohoo! There we go. 3 cups of powdered sugar. Okay, so then it says, powdered sugar, add the cocoa mixture to the sugar and beat well. Okay. Cocoa mixture. I'll get my little scraper here. Oh, there's the goodness right there. Let me scrape it in. Get it all in there. This will really dissolve the sugar too because it's warm. There you go. Let me put my beater in here. Alright, up we go and on. And squeaky. Oh! Sorry, I'm losing you. I bumped it. Try not to do that. Where does it say to add the rest of the milk? Oh, later. Alright, well, it's looking kind of lumpy, but alright. Apparently this is what we're getting. So then, I'm following the directions. Then we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. Not too sure about it at the moment. Let's hope the magic happens when I get the rest of the milk in there. Because it looks like little rocks right now. Teaspoon of vanilla. I don't know how much magic that's going to bring. Okay, then we're going to do the rest of the milk. 3 more tablespoons of milk. That's the liquid it needs right there. Why you do that at the end is beyond me. We're really gonna whip that good. It's liquid. It's looks good now. We're gonna take off in a minute. Just because we thought it was the highest, it is not. So this is actually not a dark chocolate icing. Oh, but does it look good? Looks better than I thought. Okay. Now, we have, let's see where we're at with the brownies. Oh, we're like right at 5 minutes. How perfect is that? All right, so let's check, though, while we're letting that sit there. I'll show you the brownies. If I can do this without avalanche. Here we go. There's our brownies. And let's look at the dumplings. See, they're a little bit spongy. Very interesting. All right. Spoon. Dumplings, though, they're going to be hot. Ooh, doggy, they're going to be hot. All right, let's do this. Let me unplug it so I don't have this cord. Here we go. That is chicken and dumplings. Oh, yeah. It's a little stuck on the bottom. That's okay. We just loosened it up. I got it turned off now. That's going to be the best stuff ever. Kind of like noodles. If you've never had chicken and dumplings, it's real southern. Never had chicken and dumplings. It's kind of like noodles, only better. Okay, so let me put this back down over here. I'm gonna get one. Look at the brownies. My cat is running around with it. with her spring again. Here you go. Oh, yeah. Don't that look good? If it doesn't look good, trust me, it's good. Trust me. All right, let me get a little salt. I don't want to put that in my mouth yet, though. That'll burn. That'll scrape the skin right off of your top of your mouth. Remove the skin from the upper part of your mouth. You gotta let it cool. I've lost my salt. And it's dripping. Ooh, it tastes good, though. Oh, here's my salt. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, it needs a little bit of salt. So I'm going to let it sit here on the side of the sink. And I'm going to go add a little salt to my pot. Because I just think it needs a little more salt. I'm going to stir my pot. Oh, it's going to be so good. Here we go. Here's our bite. Mmm. Oh, that's a good bite. Mm-hmm. Yummy. Okay. Mm-hmm. Since I don't have brownies in the oven, I think I need to turn my oven off. What do you think? Okay. Now, let's take our icing. It's been long enough. It says put it on warm brownies, so here we go. I'm gonna take our icing. Oh, let's taste this icing. Pretty good. So it's kind of lightly chocolate, the icing is. So I think that will be fine since I think the brownies are going to be real chocolatey. I think it will be plenty. So this timed really well. I didn't even do this on purpose, where this was just like ready by the time we were done with the dumplings. Worked out pretty well. Didn't even do it on purpose. Usually we don't get to see the final thing because it's usually like an hour later. Okay, let's take, I'm looking for a scraper here. All right, let's use the big one. Here we go. I'm going to scrape this icing onto the brownies. I'm just kind of laying it on there. I'm going to spread it around. Uh-oh. Well, we just lost a whole little glop here. Get in there. Get in there. So it makes a really interesting texture when you use melted butter rather than softened butter. Interesting. So these are Hershey syrup brownies. And we're going to spread this around. This is probably too hot to eat, too. I might try me a little taste, though. Well, hello, Miss Godiva. What's you doing, kitty? Huh? Meow. Huh? Meow. Yes, meow. Yeah. She only meows when she wants to eat. The only time. They don't meow. They hardly ever meow. She's hungry, she meows. That's her one word. Food. Isn't it? Well, she actually will sometimes meow. She wants me to throw her toy. She's actually, I think, there we go. It means the brownies are cool enough for icing. And she's actually part dog, I think. She loves to chase toy. And sometimes she will meow at me to play the toy. Won't you? Huh? Meow. What doing, Godiva? Huh? It's my Godiva cat. There's another one too, but she's hiding. Because Gwynny's probably in the room waiting for her dinner. Okay, here we go. See, it sort of is going to melt this icing. And then I'm sure it will, you know, solidify back up. Because those are some hot brownies, but it's what it said to do. Hey, Godiva. She's like ready to rub my legs. What's she doing? Huh? What's she doing, Kitty? Hi. Hi. Good girl. You ready for dinner? Huh? You can't have any brownie. Yeah, she's like, I don't want brownie. I want fish. Give me my fish. Their favorite cat food is fish. Isn't it? Huh? All right, let's take a little taste here. Little teeny weeny tiny whiny bite. We can do this without burning our mouth or letting all the icing melt in the corner. Let's see what this is like. And here's our little brownie. How hot are you? Not too hot. Not interesting. Not bad. They are kind of chewy, but I think they're supposed to be. All right, we have dinner and dessert ready for tomorrow, and we have Cat baking for her dinner. Right, Godiva? Look at those little yellow eyes. Godiva, there's a wee kitty cat. She's all black. The other one's a tabby. Shall we go find the other one? Let's go see where's the other one, huh? See, look, she's like, follow me. Come on, follow me. Feed me, feed me. She loves her tunnel. See, I have these little cardboard things here because here she is. They love the tunnel. It looks ridiculous, but they love it. Look, there she is peeking out the tunnel. This is like their favorite thing. And I even have cat tunnels. You know, the things you can buy, cat tunnels. They like this better. If I put this out and that out, they do this. Here she comes. Cat tunnel. You going back in the tunnel? What, Godiva? She knows I'm on the way. She can't take it. Like, come on now. Come on now. You ready for food, huh? Go in your tunnel. Yep, see? There she goes. And she's going to come out the other end. This is their favorite thing. Here she comes. Yeah, you love your tunnel. And here's Gwenny going to her room. Okay, we're going to go so we can feed the kitties. You ready? Let's go in our room. I got to get your dishes, actually, because I washed them. Okay, kitties, tell them good night. Say meow. She's like, where? Meow. Meow, okay. Kitty, say good night. Talk to you later. Bye.